Hello and welcome friends to another moment in time with ZG myself. How are you guys doing? Hope everything is fine. Today, right here, right now, as you can see, we are changing things up, very much embracing the change, the topic of last week, or just the topic of the previous few videos, so changing. Today, however, I would want to talk about just a little bit about the topic, subject of the past, our individual past, our just the past. What does the past mean? How does it affect us? How it affects the present and the future potentially? What it holds within and whatnot. Just talk about the past a little bit. So shall we get right into it? I will start off with just the current events, I suppose, with the actual events of changing things up, and just like I am moving my furniture here in my room after a long while, let's say 15 years approximately, and that is just a reason enough to look back into the past, I suppose. I have found so very many things, items, objects, my old things that I had I was fond to use and I have had used in my childhood and up to this day basically, and just kept. And I just sincerely, speaking openly, I have noticed that I have been hoarding, is a good word here, hoarding many things up just as I went along, just kept stacking things on top of another, just kept piling things up, never really throwing almost anything away, even things that are seamlessly useless, just of no use, not useless, just of no use at the time being, or just I have just been hoarding and stacking up way too many things, and let me tell you, cleaning that up was a hassle. That being said, a few segues, a few transitions from that. One is, let's start with this one. Same as clutter, legitimate, physical, materialistic clutter. Same works, same thing, same rules abide with the mental state, with our minds, right? The more things, the more emotions, the more thoughts, the more experiences you bottle up and just keep stacking up and cluttering and hoarding essentially, and keeping them within, the more chaos, the more they grow in, the more they just crumble under their own weight, I suppose. And we people just feel the pressure of that clutter inside the mind, into our entire body, and potentially into our life in all areas of life, into the professional, in the career aspect, relationship aspect, happiness overall, and just health, right? So cluttering is really it can be a very tedious problem indeed. So on the same note, the other transition from that topic, that example of cluttering is cleaning things up. So you can imagine just my example that I just described right here. As I mentioned, cluttering or cleaning up, let's say 15 years worth of clutter, of objects, of material things that have just been piling up and adding onto them and crumbling under their own weight, becoming even less of use potentially, breaking down, just falling apart essentially. Cleaning that up is so much more of a hassle, or just so much more difficult than if I were to have done it, were to have cleaned up periodically, or just ever so often, right? Just periodically, along the course of time. Just like maybe I wanted to say something at the time. Let's say I wanted to say something 10 years ago. I could have thrown something away, or just given something away that was 15 years ago, that I had put away 15 years ago, right? I could have just replaced the old with the then new. I didn't. And right now, cleaning all this thing up is just an endeavor tolling more than just one day, taking the toll of a lot of time, a long time, effort, energy, and just attention, right? So again, the same rules apply to the mental state. The longer you keep things bottled up, the longer you keep adding onto things, the longer you keep holding onto things, just repressing yourself, that was a key word, the harder it will be, the harder it is essentially to clean it up. Essentially, the harder it is to get better afterward. That's why so many people, so many of us are struggling or just facing legitimately so many health issues these days. There has never been, there in the history of, well, in our past, there hasn't been this much mental occurrences, like mental pressure, psychological pressure, as we do have now. All like much of that is thanks to this topic that I'm talking about, just cluttering and just repressing many thoughts and not clearing up our spaces. So in that regard, the past is a very important subject. Of course, we cannot change it, for sure. We cannot change the past, and we shouldn't. Why would you want to change the past? It technically led to the very present moment. It led you to potentially be watching this video, to be right here, right now, breathing in well, or just maybe not even well. Just you're still here, right? The past has led you up to here, and it's still an important. It is an important lesson. It is an important part of our lives, because many times when it comes to decluttering, in terms of getting healthier, feeling healthy and well in life, just abundant in life, shall we say, just thriving, the past often holds actually the key to the solution to getting better. Many of our subconscious habits come from our past, from our upbringing, from our parents, from how we had felt back in our childhood, how we have lived through our childhood. Was it in fear? Was it in happiness and love? Was it in constant stress? Was it in constant worry, right? All of these things factor into today's life, and that's why another reason why the past is important and why it holds a key. We can't change the past, but we can change our perception, we can basically, when we boil it down, we can change our response, our past response to an unpleasant event in our childhood, for example, in our past. For example, I could be right now. Let's speak from a practical example. I could be even more negative about my situation here. Like I could have just been wonderful timing with the trigger effect. I could have just been even more negative. I could have just been venting and angry and frustrated about how come I didn't clean my room up sooner, how come I just kept piling things up, why did I have to put so many things and just be pressuring myself even further. That wouldn't solve anything, would it? That would just cause only unnecessary more pressure. Whereas if I just look into it and just am grateful, feel gratitude, change my perspective on things. For example, feel gratitude that I have been able to have been in touch with so many objects, with so many things, that I have been able to, for my parents to give so many things to me in my childhood, so many things that I could have experienced, just gratitude and just remembering the fun that I had with these old toys, for example. That is a completely different thing, right? And as soon as I changed it into a positive thing first, for just change the perspective from just stress and worry into love and gratitude, for example, I can much easier then let go of it onward. For example, I am thinking of many of these toys or just old items that I have found. I'm thinking of potentially giving them away to someone who might want them, right? Someone who I know, or just anyone that is interested into them. I will speak up about it and just maybe make a post, maybe sell them away, give them away, who knows. Just, it's going to be much easier because I have been able to process, instead of going through the negative, instead of, just to recap, instead of pressuring myself and just going down a negative spiral, change my perspective, find the solution, the key in positivity, in optimism, I suppose, of the past, and through that, let go of the old, just thank my past for a nice present, right here, right then. And with, just like I always keep saying, right, moment in time, just one moments of happiness in the present create a lifetime of purpose, create a purposeful or just a happy future, right? Just small building blocks. We can't affect the future just much like a past, but future is probably going to be a topic for another video or whatnot. Right now, just we wanted to talk about the past in conjunction with the present, and I think I made a pretty good example. So yes, long story short, just try not to clutter your physical space first and foremost with too many things, and just not be like me and let go of things a lot easier, or just much more periodically, just through the course of time. Change things up every so often, right? And maybe don't let's not all be so materialistic as I used to be. I'm very much trying not to be anymore like that. But yes, let's just try to create less trash or just materialistic junk, right? Clutter. In that case, and in the same regard, if you're having any thoughts, if you're having any ideas in your mind, just try not to hang up on them too much, hang on to them too much. Just let them go. Try to change your perspective into something good, and let these thoughts, these feelings go, because they might not have even mattered. And if they do matter, they will come back. Then they don't need to take up space. They don't need to take up your energy and effort. With that being said, I am always available to reach out at my social media. Always Twitter at ZG_killit, and on Twitch.tv, of course, live streaming always every so often, frequently on Twitch.tv/ZG_killit. If you want to join us, talk about life, just learn how to change your perspective in practice with me, along with you, as well as always available for like coaching calls and just advice on how to better yourself, better your life, and just be the best you can be, one moment in time at a time, right? Thank you very much for watching this video. As always, I appreciate you very much. Gladly would love to see you sometime live, or just talk to you in person if you have any questions regarding anything. Links are always down below, as always. My friends, thank you very much once again. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope to certainly see you at another moment in time.